Now we'll look at producer behavior. So rational producer behavior is, we say this is the basis of firm theory. And by rational producer behavior, we just assume that they exist to make profit and that everything they do is geared towards maximizing profit. So we're going to launch into a few critiques of that assumption. But firstly, a little bit of revision. How much quantity should firms produce in order to maximize profit? Of course, we know the answer is MC equals MR. That always holds no matter which type of market structure. If it's perfect competition, if it's oligopoly, it's what applies. Secondly, we're talking about profits. Let's distinguish between accounting profit and economic profit. So the difference here, and you will have seen it in your answer, is that accounting profit just takes into account the costs that we actually pay, so actual expenses incurred, whereas economic profit takes into account the opportunity costs as well. So in economics, we talk about economic profit. Okay, there are some alternative business, I'll say objectives, but of course up there it says objectives. So one is corporate social responsibility. The idea that that firms will choose to act ethically rather than simply just maximizing profit. So some examples of that, companies like BHP. This is on their website. They've got a stated goal of by 2050, they want to achieve net zero operational greenhouse gas emissions. That's going to cost them money, perhaps profit. Another might be supporting human rights. So here we've got a Russian McDonald's. That's sort of an important photograph because Russian McDonald's don't exist anymore. McDonald's pulled out of Russia, sort of to support the Ukrainians in their war, foregoing profit, obviously, at the same time. Also, what they'll do is they'll give sponsorships, art, athletic sponsorships. These don't have to be big companies. These can be really small firms. Local pizza shops, for example, will sponsor local football teams and whatnot. Coles do big donations to charities, so 18 million to drought relief, for example. This is going to take out their profits, of course. The critique of this idea of corporate social responsibility, of course, is that you can easily see how doing these things can lead to profit. So McDonald's might not face any backlash from continuing to operate in Russia. So it might be a rational decision to maximize their profits. Coles, they want to be seen as a good company. People will continue to buy from them if they do things like donate to drought relief. Market share, this might be an objective. I've spelled it correctly this time, which is good. Percentage of total sales in a market earned by a single firm. So they want to increase this. Why do they want to do that? It's a bit of an indicator of success relative to their competitors. And the larger market share can mean that they are bigger. Therefore, they can get economies of scale and even grow bigger again. So if they get bigger, they can then reduce their prices more because of the economies of scale, reducing their costs. That means they might be able to gain even more market share. And in the end, more profits, right? So how do they get market share? They might lower their prices. They might innovate with a new product. They might advertise. All of these things by themselves really do reduce profits. But as I've sort of alluded to already, increasing market share, you could argue that it's really just sacrificing short-term profit for long-term profit. Okay, growth maximization, this is quite similar to market share. So you can get those economies of scale benefits. We talk about economies of scale a lot in this course. Another thing that growth can do is if you grow by diversifying into different markets, you can reduce your risk of failure, of bankruptcy, or a failing business, right? So an example of a company being quite diverse is Unilever. They buy all these different brands. So they're really diversifying their risk. It's unlikely that all of these brands are going to go badly at once. Some might go badly, but then that'll be offset by the others being quite strong brands. And finally, we've got satisficing. I told you I'd come back to this word. This is the idea that firms don't chase any one goal singularly, but what they'll do is they'll try to be okay at everything, right? So this word, it comes from the word satisfy, and it comes from the word suffice, like to be sufficient, right? And we get this word satisficing. So, for example, it means they get good enough profits, satisfactory corporate social responsibility, that they've been good corporate citizens, and satisfactory growth and market share as well. But not all about chasing one goal in particular, right? Okay, that is our critique of rational producer behavior. Thank you.